The revolution's begun. The time to stand up has come. We are the rocking of the throne. We are the rocking of the throne.
Hi, my name is Victor Tiffany. I'm the co-founder of Revolt Against Plutocracy, the organization that was behind the Burn Your Bus movement last year. Well, the primary or the midterms are coming up in next year, and there are candidates starting to form their FEC committees, getting ready to run either to challenge neoliberal Democrats or just to run in the primaries of the Democratic Party to challenge a Republican that's in office. Before I continue, I'm going to make this as quickly as I can because I know people are very busy. Before I continue, I encourage people to share this with other Bernie-crats, with people out there who took the Burn Your Bus pledge, for people out there who promoted the pledge. We need on the ground in congressional district organizers to put together leverage strategies, congressional district by congressional district. I'm going to explain how to do that, or at least how to get started. We're hoping the Progressive or Bust website will be up very soon to help coordinate these activities at the national level. But right now is the time to find your congressional candidates. Meet with your congressional candidates. Ask them if, in addition to running in the Democratic Party primaries, if they would, where permitted, also run as a write-in candidate. Why? Because that's the leverage they need to win the Democratic primaries with your help. If they say yes or they say no, it just depends on how much work you have to do. I'll come back to that. And finally, I'm going to talk about a new innovation that we're incorporating into this leverage strategy. How do you know who you're going to support this way? Well, very simply, you're going to support the candidates who will sign a contract compelling them, legally compelling them, to support a progressive agenda when they're in office. I'll put a link to the contract explanation website below this video, so you can look at that contract, and I'll talk about it more shortly. So, I mentioned a while back we Revolt Against Plutocracy endorsed the Draft Bernie movement, and as part of my effort to promote that activity, I used my personal list of email contacts here in upstate New York to ask people to sign the petition to Bernie Sanders to ask him to join the third party, the People's Party. A friend of mine, someone I know here locally, mildly political activist and an actor, got back to me and let me know he was running for Congress. I thought, oh, wow, this thing's fallen in my lap. I don't even have to go out and find a candidate to figure out if we're going to Bernie, or not Bernie or Bust, but to use the leverage strategy for. If you're not so lucky, if you don't already know someone you think who is running, who you think is worthy of supporting with leverage, who you think you might be able to talk into also running as a write-in candidate, then you need to find these people quickly. That is the highest priority right now, is find your progressive candidates. They might be a Justice Democrat, they might be a Bernie-crat, they might, and John, by the way, was a supporter of Bernie Sanders, and they might be a brand new Congress Democrat. Whoever it is, it has to be a Democrat. That's the whole idea of leverage. Leverage doesn't work in a small, minor third party, but it will work in a major party. So you have to find these Democrats. How do you do that? My congressional district includes 11 counties. So if I didn't have John fall into my lap, I would have to contact the Democratic Party chairman in all 11 counties and ask him or her if they know who is running for Congress in this district, and then ask for contact information, and then try to arrange a meeting, face-to-face preferably, but in my district, that's 11 counties across, So I would arrange a phone conversation if possible. But try to get a face-to-face meeting with these candidates and see if, number one, they're progressive. You'll ask them to sign the contract, which I'll again provide a link to below this video. You can modify that contract. It doesn't have to be $15 an hour. If you live in an area where $14 an hour makes sense, you can modify the contract to suit your purposes, but make sure whatever you insist this progressive candidate must do within 180 days, or else he steps down from office, he or she. Make sure it's popular in your district. Right? The whole idea is to pick the progressive issues that are popular among broad general people. We know the plutocrats may not want this, but this is an anti-plutocratic, pro-democracy contract. It's a brilliant idea from Revolt Against Plutocracy committee member John Rachel. And I just wanted to incorporate this into our leverage strategy. How do you know who to supply leverage to? The candidate who signs the contract. That compels them to basically introduce or co-sponsor legislation on these 12 points or so within 180 days, or they step down from office. It's a brilliant innovation that there's no reason we can't incorporate into this strategy. Now, meet your candidate, find out if he or she will also run as a write-in candidate, because if that happens, it simplifies your work immensely. And then get them to sign the contract. Again, you may modify that contract. We'll see. We're going to come up with better revisions of this contract, so more will be available in the coming days and weeks. But you can always print it out yourself and modify it. It's currently in PDF form, so again, we're going to have to get some Word document forms for you in case you want to modify it. If your candidate, like John, who contacted me and said he was running for Congress, if your candidate is willing to run as a write-in candidate where permitted, most of your work's done. You don't have to build a movement because it's coming straight from the candidate himself. This is the easiest path. This is why I'm so lucky. Not only did I not have to find a candidate, but he's willing to actually run as a write-in candidate as well. What that means is I don't need to build in our congressional district a movement to get people to write in John's name if he's doesn't win the primary election next year. He's going to do it anyway. All we're going to do is form a PAC with 2 or 3 other people, produce some ads to run on television. Obviously, we're going to have to raise some money. And then those ads are going to be the hardball line, the hard line approach I don't want John to take. I suggested, John, just mention you're running as a write-in candidate when you're on the stump. Just mention that you're a write-in candidate when you're in the debate with the other Democrats as you move toward the primary election. We'll supply the hardball analysis. You either elect John as your candidate, your nominee, your candidate for Congress in the primaries, or else we're going to lose, and in this case, Tom Reed will be reelected. And we're going to add, because John's an actor, why not an actor? We've had a clown for 6 years. So we're going to play the hardball. You know, John's just going to let Democrats sort of come to the conclusion on their own, gee, if we don't elect John, the left will be divided and Tom Reed will be reelected. But we're going to actually fill in those blanks in advertisements once we are certain that John's in and that he's definitely a write-in candidate. All we need to do is form a PAC and run with it. If your candidate won't run as a write-in candidate, you can still, where allowed, you can still make him a write-in candidate. It's just that they won't count votes in most states unless the candidate himself or herself registers as a write-in candidate. You can still organize a write-in candidate. You can still provide leverage to this candidate. It won't be as effective. And it's a lot more work because you have to build, you have to go out and get signatures 5,000, 10,000 people in your congressional district come out and say, I'm not voting for any other Democrat other than the progressive or bust candidate. And by the way, the hashtag that we're going to use for John is hashtag John or Flush the Democratic Party. So again, that's something you can just figure out how you're going to arrange on your own. Where a write-in candidate is not permitted, or where your candidate won't run as a write-in candidate, there's another option there. See if there is a third-party progressive running in your congressional district. Green Party, Progressive Party, People's Party, any independent progressive, anybody willing to sign the contract to make sure they do what they say they're going to do. This absolutely renders campaign promises obsolete. It is a sledgehammer. It forces candidates, when they win elections, to do what they say they were going to do, because if they don't, in 181 days, you have a contract with them, they have to resign from office. It's a powerful tool. I'm thrilled to support John's brilliant idea, John Rachel, the RAP committee member, and I think it's absolutely a brilliant idea. It's a sledgehammer. So think about it. You're going to provide leverage, and you're going to use a sledgehammer to get the candidate, if elected, to follow the progressive agenda, the people's agenda. It's truly a brilliant idea. So go out, find your candidates. Find a candidate who will hopefully run as a write-in candidate. If not, then look around for Green Party or independent or other progressives who might be running a third-party candidacy. Make him or her the or bust option. And again, get them to sign this contract, because this contract puts an end to plutocracy. This contract puts an end to oligarchy. It forces politicians to do what they say they're going to do. It's not. It renders campaign promises obsolete. Think about it. They have to follow up on their promises. It's in a contract, and if they don't, they have to resign. All right, go out and find your candidates. Get them to run as a write-in candidate if possible, where allowed. Get your or bust options set up, and then start gathering. If it's a candidate who's going to, most cases, all you need to do is get a PAC together, file a PAC with the FEC. It's very straightforward. The super PACs are the easiest to apply for. They have the simple rules, and you can make it a grassroots PAC by limiting donations to $1,000 per person. That's what we did with Citizens Against Plutocracy PAC, the CAP PAC that we used to support the Burn Your Bus movement last year. It's not hard. It just takes a little vigor and spine, and go do it. All right? Let's win this thing. Let's turn this political revolution into an actual revolution, progressive revolution in the United States.
RAP didn't become political revolutionaries because of Bernie Sanders. RAP originated the Bernie or Bust pledge because we're political revolutionaries. We are building a leverage movement to demand the next president of the United States is a genuine progressive. Please go to our website and sign up to join us today.